Every player in any sport got that one team that they see on the schedule and they're like, uh, I remember I used to play ball when I was back in high school, and there was this one team with one of those defenders. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So much energy you would think they snorted a line and popped a perk for breakfast. Can't even move on the court without them breathing down your neck. Shit's so goddamn annoying. Every time I seen him on the schedule, I knew it was finna be a long day. Running up and down the court with his little jack-in-the-box, infinite stamina, Energizer Bunny ass on my tail all game. I almost never had a good game against that kid, bruh, now that I really think about it. On the other hand, though, there was this other team. I forgot their name, but most of them was older than us. The problem was they was fucking trash. We used to go over there and mop the floor with them. They used to put this little light-skinned kid on me. Oh, my God. When I say he was food, I'm talking about a full-course meal. Every time we came down the court, hezzy cross, and I'm right past him. No matter what sport you play, you'll always have a favorite opponent, and football is no different. In the history of the sport, there's always been players who have one specific club that they're always tearing up for whatever reason. It could be because the matchup just constantly favors them. Maybe a bigger striker up against a club whose center backs are always a bit smaller. Maybe a pacey winger against a club whose fullback is slow or just not a good defender. Martinelli's been giving Trent nightmares for 2 years running. Even last year when he was generally shit for most of the season, he resurrected like Undertaker for Liverpool at the Emirates. It didn't help that Trent was playing hurt that game, so yeah, Martinelli was licking his chops. It could also be a mental thing when it comes to players who have their favorite opponents. Once you get the best of somebody in your first meeting or two, it sticks around in the back of your head like, damn, he whooped my ass last time. I cannot let that happen again. And then you start overthinking every action and every move you make because you're so worried about getting humiliated all over again. And it becomes a cycle with this one player. It's also sometimes a manager thing too. There's some players that have certain systems completely figured out and there's no adjustments you can make to stop them. Whatever it is, it's always entertaining when a player has one team that they genuinely violate every time they play, because when that game is coming up, you just know you're in for a good watch. Unless, of course, it's your team. Then I guess it's not so fun. Kane is probably a recent example of somebody who's always managed to find the net against us, but literally 8 of those 15 goals are penalties, bruh. Drogba would definitely be a better example of our boogeyman. Like that one commentator said in 2010.
Oh, Arsenal hate the sight of it.
He had, 13 goals in 15 games against Arsenal, and I don't think any of them were penalties either. Rooney is the all-time top scorer against Arsenal with 15, but that was across 35 games, which isn't even close to 13 goals in 15 games. My favorite recent example of club bullying gotta be Mo Salah versus Manchester United. The funniest part about it is, originally, it was the other way around. His first 2 seasons with Liverpool, he didn't score a single time against United in 4 matches. It was a whole thing. Everybody was talking about, oh, Salah can't score against United. He can't even score against them, blah, blah, blah. He even mentioned that he was extra motivated because Robertson and Trent would tease him about it. That must have gave him a whole extra boost because he started putting belt to ass in 2020. In 12 games against United since then, he has 12 goals, 6 assists, a hat-trick at Old Trafford, 4 goal contributions in the 7-0 nuke at Anfield, and literally a month or 2 ago, 3 more goal contributions at Old Trafford. It's honestly past humiliation at this point. This how Salah be the night before United games. Jersey hella ironed and shit. He be in the locker room foaming at the mouth. What are some other examples? There's some good ones out there. Ronaldo's record against Atletico was crazy as hell, which is funny because just like Salah and United, he started off kind of shaky against them. Didn't score against them in La Liga for 2 years, and then he just started mauling them. 2011 and 2012, and I think 2013 too. Those were the funny years where it really started, just because of how bad this dude was doing Courtois. Missile after missile after missile. He made him look like an idiot so many different times. It's even funnier that Courtois waited till the summer Ronaldo left to join Madrid. He was mad as hell. Nigga spent years getting peed on. He was not trying to join hands and sing Kumbaya with that dude. In 37 games against Atletico, Ronaldo had 25 goals, 9 assists, 4 separate hat-tricks, 2 of which were in the Champions League knockouts, beat them in 2 Champions League finals, and pretty much owned them in every conceivable way. He even spun back after leaving Madrid and dropped another hat-trick on their heads with Juventus. This is true hatred from the bottom of the soul, bruh. When it comes to Ronaldo and Messi, it's hard to include them in this video just because you could do this for like half the teams they face. They dunked on everybody, bruh. Even if we exclude La Liga teams, Messi has more goal contributions than games played against Arsenal, Celtic, Leverkusen, Milan, Manchester City, Ajax, and a few others. If we include La Liga teams, it gets significantly worse. Ronaldo and Atletico's history is more iconic because a lot of it came in bigger moments, but Messi scored 32 times against Atletico with 9 assists in 43 games. Nobody has suffered more from Ronaldo and Messi era than Atletico. Nobody. Well, actually, nobody besides Sevilla. If Messi and Ronaldo can agree on one thing, it's beating the dog shit out of Sevilla. Like, badly. In just 18 games against them, Ronaldo has scored 27 times. Messi, meanwhile, and I'm so dead ass when I say this, these are real numbers. Like, you can go check them for yourself. This dude has 38 goals and 20 assists against Sevilla in 43 games. 58 goal contributions. What the fuck? What those two put La Liga through over the years should be a federal crime. Moving on from the two freaks, there's plenty more examples out there. I feel like using those two is cheating. Shevchenko had Inter on the grill for a little while back in the day. 22 games against them, he scored 15 times. Mind you, this is in the Serie A's prime when they were the best league in the world. Inter was no joke, bro. 3 of those goals came in the Champions League knockouts too. Harry Kane really doesn't like Leicester, which isn't surprising considering the fact that they snatched probably Tottenham's best chance at winning a Premier League trophy. I mean, literally all of the big teams had a shitty year. He has 18 goals in 16 games against them in the Premier League, including 2 hat-tricks and that one game where he scored 4 in 2017. You know what the funny thing is, though? In every single season where Kane has played both the home and away game against Leicester, he scored at least once against them, except for the season where Leicester won the league. He's never beaten the big game choker allegations. Now, Son knows how to show up in a big game. His record against them isn't insane, but he's constantly put buckets on City's head over the years. Just couldn't seem to do it when we needed him to do it, though, right? I don't know if anybody watched enough old Juventus to catch this one, but there was a stretch where Arturo Vidal owned Lazio. It was deadass only like a year or two, but he got back-to-back league braces against them in like 2012 and 2013, and he scored against them in the Italian Cup too. This mainly popped into my head because of the 4-1 win Juventus had early in the 2013 season where Bonucci went fucking crazy. I was watching that match a few weeks ago, and he was spraying the ball all over the pitch like a maniac. He's such an insane passer. Gotta be one of my favorite center backs ever. Speaking of that Juventus team, Carlos Tevez was on it, and you know who he really didn't like? Chelsea. 12 games, 8 goals, 2 with United, 6 with City. That was kind of random, I know. I saw a graphic for it in this like old random game I was watching the other day. Anyways, what's the science behind this? We mentioned earlier, like, sometimes it's the nerves of defenders. Sometimes players just have a certain system that's easier for them to go against. A lot of the time, though, it does circle back to mentality. Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to sound like rivalry, but it does make sense. Look at Salah and Ronaldo. Their first couple times against United and Atletico Madrid, they couldn't break through, made them extra determined to go out there, and then when they got that first goal, the floodgates just opened and stayed open for years. Once they got past that first mental roadblock, it was just easy for them. In other cases, it's just players who enjoy stepping up in big moments. There was no mental roadblock. They just thrive off negativity of a rivalry. No normal 19-year-old chooses Real Madrid to drop their first hat-trick on, but Messi did and then proceeded to beat their ass for the next decade. 40 goal contributions in 47 games against the greatest club in the history of the sport is a different level of rising to the occasion. Would I call it bullying now? Shit. With some of the things he was doing to Casemiro and them boys, low-key. But the win-loss category isn't too lopsided, even though he is ahead by a few. I don't know. What's your favorite example of a player that was always a little extra turnt against one specific team? Thanks for watching, y'all. I'm going to see y'all later.